حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. The subject that began yesterday was the beauty of our faith and recognizing that beauty, and after recognizing it and seeing the attraction of our iman, enjoying it, getting gratification from it. Now this attraction of iman and this enjoyment of our faith is not something that's acquired. You can't earn it. You can't go there and try to get it. This is something that's God-given. It's given by Allah. Some things in this life you can earn and you can work hard for. But some things come only if Allah gives it to you. You can't go and earn it. For example, ilm and knowledge is something that you go and acquire. You struggle for it, strive for it, and work hard, read, go to classes, and then you see that you get knowledge. But wisdom and hikmat cannot be acquired. That has to be given by Allah. Allah gives you hikmat and wisdom. So a person can have all the knowledge he wants, but in hikmat he might be zero. You might have seen a lot of people, for example, are very knowledgeable, but when it comes to being wise and knowing what is right and wrong and deciphering between right and wrong, they're like zero. And you wonder, oh, you have all this knowledge. What happened? Well, you have the knowledge, but you don't have wisdom. That's why you see, again, like for example, you can have and acquire education. You can go and learn something and become whatever field that you're learning. For example, you can become a doctor, you can be an engineer, you can strive for it. But intellect is not something that you can strive for. Being intelligent is not something you can strive for. So you can be educated and dumb at the same time. Being educated doesn't mean that you're intelligent. Intelligence is a whole different thing. Being an intelligent person, having aql, is a whole different thing. That comes from Allah. That's different. Ilm, yes, is different. And that's why you see many people who are very learned, but they don't know the difference between God and a stone. So what made you smart? This doesn't show intelligence. And that's the reason why when we are talking about this subject here, about recognizing the beauty of Islam and being attracted by it, is something that's God-given. Yes, we can do something to create an environment where we can get it, that Allah can give it to us. But a lot of times you see many people, they're not happy with their religion. They're not happy with prayers. They're not happy with, trying to abstain from haram. Allah said, don't do this, but, they just can't. Why? Because they just don't like it. Why don't they like it? Why didn't they acquire it? They have been Muslims all their life. They have been Shia all their life. Why is it that they're having a hard time? Because they haven't created the environment in themselves that Allah can give it to them. I will mention this a little bit more. But Allah says, even He attributes this to Himself. He says, وَحَبَّبَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ I made Iman beloved for you. I made it beloved, not you. You didn't earn it. You didn't acquire it. It's Allah who made it beautiful for you. وَزَيَّنَهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ And He made it beautiful in your heart. Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam, in the tafsir of this ayat. Now what is this ayat? In Hujurat I read you that that Allah is the one who made Iman beloved for you. Meaning you started loving Iman because of Allah. Allah put it in your heart. So it's not something that you can say, oh, I made myself like that. It is Allah who made you like this. So in the tafsir of this ayat, Imam Sadiq says that this Iman Allah is talking about is Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam. Which is right. He is kulli mu'min and he is Amir al-Mu'mineen. So obviously, whenever Iman is spoken of, Allah is speaking of Ali at the beginning and Ahl al-Bayt in all. So now when we look at ourselves, we see that, am I in love with Imam Ali? So if I am in love with Imam Ali, and if Imam Ali has this place in my heart, and if Imam Ali has this sort of awe and this huge place in my life, then where did this come from? Did you work for it? Do you think that you, because you're so good, that you made this happen in your heart? Now Allah says, Habbaba ilaykumul iman. Allah made Ali beloved for you. Allah put Ali in your heart. This love that you have is from Imam Ali. And my friends, it's very, yes, it's, Imam Ali is lovable. Ahlul Bayt are lovable. Why? Now we come to ourselves, we see that, okay, you know what? You got this love for Imam Ali in your heart. Why is it that your children might not have the same appeal? What happened there? That your children don't have the same appeal. And I know because, I've been around here. And I've seen life in America for the last 50 years. So as a child also growing up here, why is it that when we look at this, we see that we have a lot of people, they bring this from Pakistan and India, this love and this sort of attachment to Imam Ali. Why is it that here we can't transfer that to our children? This is something that we want to talk about in these days. And inshallah, this will help you a lot. But today I'll just mention one thing and move forward. This person had the same problem. He loved Imam Ali, but his son didn't care for him. His son didn't care for him. He wouldn't get the same excitement when you talk about Imam Ali. He wouldn't get the same excitement. He'll be like, whatever. So what happened is that the person wanted for his son to get to know Imam Ali. Why is it that he's not doing this? So what happened is that this person came to Imam Ali and he said, Maulana, I have a son and he's I want him to love you. I want him to know you and be attached to you. But he just doesn't get on the boat, and he's not doing this. So Imam Ali says, all right, bring him to me. Bring him to me. So this person went and brought his son to meet Imam Ali personally. Now, Imam Ali obviously was with other people, and, whenever Imam Ali used to sit down, there'll be many people who come. He was the leader of the Muslims, and so, he was busy, so he was taking care of others. And this person was sitting with his son far away in the back, like very back of the crowd, And Imam Ali saw the person, and next to him was his son, just sitting in the gathering, and he saw his son, and he just looked at him. Their eyes met each other. Imam Ali just looked at him. And then, as the rush started going away, the person came forward, and he says, Mawla, I have my son here. If you can speak to him and say something, Imam Ali says, there's no need for that. But say something, that he can hear you and know. There's no need for that. Just go home now. Your job is done. Your job is done. This person goes home with his son, and it's dinner time. And, the family's getting ready for dinner, putting things on the table. He sees that his son is by the window looking outside. He asks his son, come. What happened? Come over here. And his son just looks at him and says, Father, who is that person who looked into my soul and made me fall in love with him? My friends, one look from Imam Ali makes you fall in love with him. He is that good. He is that beautiful. So when it says, for us to fall in love, sometimes we are the problem, not Imam Ali. Sometimes we are the problem, that our children do not see Imam Ali as he is. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So this love of Iman, this Iman that is there, this is from Allah. It's a gift from Allah. Imams have said that this is a special gift Allah gives to believers. He gives it to believers. So what is our job? Well, our job is to create an environment inside of us, those prerequisites that are necessary, like cleansing our heart, making sure we stay away from wrong, that the light of Ahlul Bayt can come into our hearts. That's what our job is. And this is where we go forward, because a lot of times people cannot see beauty even if it's in front of them. Let's say in this dunya, right? I don't know, the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is, it's attractive, it's beautiful. You go there like, wow, It does happen. You're like wowed by something like that. So when you are wowed by something like this, but sometimes you see people, because of the problems that they're going through, I don't know, they might have lost their job, or they lost money in their business, or they had argument with their wife, or whatever happened in their life, they look at the Grand Canyon and they don't notice it. Oh, it's beautiful, man, it's right in front of you. Don't you see it? Yeah, whatever. What's your problem? What are you going through? You see, even something that's beautiful in front of you, you can't see it because you are not ready. You are not prepared. You can't see it. So this is the reason why it's so important that even if Imam Ali is in front of you, even if Ahlul Bayt are in front of you, we have to be ready, prepared inside of ourselves to notice the beauty that lies before us. If you don't have that, if you have your own problems in your mind, if you're going through difficulties or something is happening, then even if Imam is in front of you, you won't notice it. Go for ziyarat and see. Ziyarat, Imam is right there. How many people are distracted in ziyarat, talking about vain things? Oh, Imam is here in front of you. Don't you notice it? Don't you see the beauty? A lot of times, this is what happens. People don't know that they're so distracted, Yes, but, this is not the hotel they promised. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Is that your worry right now? Is that what's preoccupying your mind right now? It does happen. This whole caravan wasn't up in arms, with their leaders because they didn't give them the hotel, that they promised from Pakistan, right? So they told the Maulana that, go and, tell the people, something, so that they can look at things differently. So the poor Maulana goes up there on the minbar to face the wrath of the people. And, and he's giving the normal words that you give, that listen, you should see Imam Hussein, how he came to Karbala and how he came with his family and all these things to Karbala and all these things. And one of the he gets up from the audience and he says, yes, Maulana, but he didn't buy a $2,000 package to come to Karbala. And this is what I said, brother, you are here, Imam Hussein is right here, and you're thinking you paid $2,000 for a package? What is wrong with you? But this is what happens. We are not ready. When you go to Karbala, you see how many people are not ready. They're not ready. I've seen it. A lot of people, they go to Karbala for the first time and they're like, as they are walking towards the haram, they see all the sign, these flags and, parcham and all of these things. And, one guy just started to buy all these things and all these things. After 2 days that the group is there, he says to me, man, I need some time to go to the haram. I haven't gone to the, He did all his shopping, but he hasn't gone to the haram. What is wrong with you that you're not, really? This is what happens. A lot of us, we don't see the beauty of deen, even though it's in front of us, because we have our own problems. We have our own issues that we have to deal with. And that is something that we want to make sure that we don't make the mistake. It will be very unfortunate that if the Imam comes and we are not ready for him. How bad would that be? If you hear on your social media that the Imam is here and you're not ready for him, for whatever reason. You see, all of these reasons that will stop you are the reasons that you want to eradicate from yourself, to see the beauty of Islam, the beauty of deen. You won't see it until you eradicate these things from your heart. Why didn't the people of Kufa not defend Imam Hussein and not be truthful to the oath that they took? 16,000 people wrote letters to Imam Hussein saying that we will support you, we will help you. What happened? That these people, with all the words and all the promises they made, they backed down. History is there for you to read. The men came out to support Muslim ibn Aqil. They all came out, right? They all came out and said, we are with you, and the whole crowd gathered. It was such a huge crowd. Big crowd. And in the duration of the day, by Maghrib time, it was finished. They were all gone. And Muslim is looking left and right and saying, where did you all go? He had no clue what's going on. These people just left him, abandoned him. What happened? It was said that, their families would come and say, listen, there are many people here. They don't need you. We need you. We are your family. Who's going to provide for us? Come back. And he's like, well, you're true about that. There are many people here. They're enough to defend Imam Hussein. Let me go back home. And everyone made the same decision. Let me go back home. There are enough people there. We shouldn't be thinking that if we see millions of people in Karbala and Arbain, oh, there's so many people here, Imam Hussein doesn't need me. I have things to do. You see, these are things, reasons that we need to eradicate ourselves. It's not easy, but inshallah we will go through that these days. How do you eradicate these sort of things from yourself to see the beauty of Imam Hussein, to see the light, to be just mesmerized by him? Send a salawat. Now, obviously, my friends, just an introduction I will give, make it clear that this discussion we are having is not some sort of a superfluous discussion, we have necessary things to discuss in Islam, and we brought this for artistic discussion, so, we have it's something that on the side. It's not like the main entree. This is like the appetizer or even the dessert, right? No, my friends, this discussion is not about it being something that's extra. This discussion of the beauty of Islam is, in essence, our faith and our protection of our faith. If you do not follow this subject and know this subject well, you will see that there's no way for you to protect your deen. You cannot protect your deen. You won't be able to. And inshallah, I'll bring some ayat and all that, inshallah, and we'll go through that. Send a salawat, please. And also, I'm not asking you to send salawat so I can get some time, all right? A lot of times you might think that, Maulana needs some time, so he's sending salawat. It's not that, my friends. I'm asking you to send salawat because, in order to understand the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, you need to have nur in your heart. And that nur is coming from salawat. This makes our... MashaAllah. And while we're at it, we can say Nare Haidri also. Sant. So now, as we are discussing this, I don't want you to think this is the case, because really we need this to understand. We need nur to understand these teachings. And what I'm going through will be a little bit in depth, but I said, I will challenge the crowd to be with me so that you can truly understand how deen works, how the mechanism of deen that Allah has sent through Ahlul Bayt actually works. It's not something accidental. It's not something that's happening just because it happens. No, there is logic behind it. There is mechanism behind it. Everything we do, from, for example, prayers to matam, everything has a beauty behind it. That when you actually start paying attention, then you get mesmerized. You fall in love. That's what happens. So inshallah, let us do that. One of the things is this, as we looking at this discussion, you have to understand that shaitan, his whole goal is to make dunya attractive. And dunya is attractive. If dunya was not attractive, if dunya was ugly, no one would be running after it. I mean, you don't hear people say, when you ask them, you're working hard, man, in your life. What are you working for? Well, I'm working to get poor. You don't hear them say that, right? Really, my goal is poverty. Yes. This is not something what you do things for. You're doing this, whatever you're running, whatever efforts you're making is because there is attraction in this dunya. Because it is made to look like that. For example, if you ask someone, for example, why are you getting married for? I heard that after you get married, You get miserable. So I want to be miserable in life. Does anyone get married for that? No, people get married to find happiness, not misery. So my friends, everyone is attracted to dunya because in their eyes it looks good. Your youngsters are attracted to dunya and the people of this dunya because they see them as happy. And they want that happiness. No one runs after things to be unhappy. No one runs after things because it's ugly. Everyone runs after things because it's beautiful, or at least it seems beautiful in our eyes. That's why we run after things. And now if you don't believe, or if you do not understand the beauty of your deen, if you don't understand the beauty of iman and faith, what will happen to you? I'm going to go through certain things that will happen to you. Anything in life, if you do something that you don't like for example, you went through something that you didn't like. So obviously you want to be compensated for it. No one compensates for things that you like. You know, like for example, you don't go to a restaurant and say, I love the food, I want my money back. Like, why are you asking for your money back? You enjoyed it, right? Yes, I enjoyed it, but I want my money back. Wow, the fun and enjoyment is the reward and the payment. But if you didn't enjoy it, yes, the food wasn't good, it was undercooked, it was bad, so I want my money back. You see, you want to be compensated when you don't enjoy something. That's what happens. You want to be compensated. I didn't enjoy it. I was supposed to enjoy it and I didn't. So now Allah sent you a dish. And in that dish, you didn't enjoy it. You didn't have fun. So now obviously, if you didn't have fun and if you didn't enjoy what you were doing, so you will say, Allah, now I did something I didn't like. I sacrificed for you. So I want to be compensated now. So now when you feel that you want to be compensated and you don't get that compensation, if you don't get anything in return, because Allah hasn't given you anything in return, right? For the prayers you have done. He didn't. There's no reward for your prayer. You just kept on praying and there's no reward for it. So if you didn't enjoy your prayer, if you didn't enjoy your Ramadan, if you didn't enjoy your Muharram, if you didn't enjoy all of these things that Allah has given to you, now, because you didn't enjoy it, naturally you want something in return for it. You are now wanting compensation for the sacrifices that you made. And now when you have that feeling in you, it leads to entitlement. I am entitled before Allah. Allah needs to reward me for what I have done. Yes. And this entitlement, this feeling of entitlement before Allah is the root cause of ujub, of this self-righteous pride, that I am better than others. I did this for Allah. He needs to give it back now. This is what it comes. And you end up with ujub, and that's it. You're on your way out. And you're finished. You destroy your relationship with Allah and Ahlul Bayt. You might have seen, for example, if I'm here giving this majlis for Imam Hussain, then my niyyat should not be for money. At the end, I'm going to get an envelope. And if I do make the niyyah that, listen, or sometimes I might go further than that and say, listen, this is how much I charge for the majlis. Right? We can go further also with that. But you know what will happen with that? What will happen with that is what Allah says in the Quran, that you are putting a cheap price for something that's worth so much. How much do I charge? I charge this much. You're not being great by that. You're charging a very small price. You know Allah is ready to pay you so much more. So much more He's ready to pay you, but you charge so little of a price. It means that this wasn't worth that much for you. This majlis wasn't worth that much for you, that you charge $1,000 a majlis, $5,000 a majlis. It's like, okay, that's it? That's how much the majlis is worth for you? Really? My friend, this is something so valuable that there's no price here. There's no price for this here. Can you see that we have the opportunity from Allah that we can talk about Ahlul Bayt? This is something beautiful. This is really, if a person recognizes this, I want to read in Noha. I don't want anything from you all for this. I want to do it for Bibi Fatima. My reward is with her. She will give the ajr for me. Anything like that, my friends. This is why needing to recognize things as they are, the beauty that it is necessary for us. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now, the second thing that happens, first thing is ujub. I just explained how that happens, right? And you end up having this ujub, this disease that is incurable in your heart. Okay. The second thing that happens to us is known as hasad, envy. When we don't enjoy deen, when deen is not beautiful, then you will see that religious people are angry at people who don't practice. And this is out of hasad, Look at them, These people doing haram and eating haram and going out without hijab and all of these things happen. All right, take it easy, man. What happened? What happened to you? Why are you angry? Look at them. Look at these people, and I know these people are doing it, but what's your problem with it? What is your problem with it? Why are you angry for? Because you know why? Because they think that those people have something beautiful that we don't. If you thought you had something, then you won't be looking at other people. You won't even have the time to look at other people. Have you ever heard anyone regret, I wish I was poor? Look at these poor people. I wish I was like them. No one is envious of poor people. Yeah, no one is envious of sick people. This person has 5 cancers. I wish I had that too. No one is envious of that. Why would you be envious? You'll be envious of healthy people. People who have something positive. That's when you get envious. Envy is a result of you seeing yourself not having something and you see others as having something. So you need to look at yourself that you don't recognize the beauty that you have. The beauty that you have. A person came to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Then he was a Shia, a lover of Ahlul Bayt. He was a Shia. He came to him and said, Mawla, I'm poor. I need to pay my bills. So Imam, obviously, he's the Imam, rectified him and says, well, you need to pay your bills, but don't say you're poor. Don't say you're poor. He said, but I am poor. I can't even pay my bills. I'm poor. I don't have anything. I said, don't say that. Mom, I don't understand what you're saying. You're like going above me. Please explain. He said, tell me, do you love us? Ahlul Bayt. He said, do you love us? He said, yes, I do love you all. Of course I love you. It's in your heart. Tell me, if anyone in the world offers you the wealth of the world to exchange it for the love that you have for us. Would you accept that deal? Someone comes to you and says, listen, give up Imam Ali, give up Imam Hussain, give up Ahlul Bayt, and I'll give you $50 million. Would you do that? Good. Someone answered. No. That's right. He said that. No, I wouldn't do that. Then Imam said, listen, you have something that is worth more than anything in this world. You have something more than anything in this world. That's why it is said that a Shia of Ali, someone who loves Ali, it is impossible for him to have hasad against anyone. In hadith we have that the love of Imam Ali is such that you cannot have hasad towards others. Why? Because that is such a great treasure that you have. You have no time for others to even look at them. You know, who are you? Bill Gates. Yeah, all right, to the side, you know. And if you want anything from me, get in line. Take a ticket, get in line. Well, we don't have time for these people. Really, they have nothing. What I have and what we have is a treasure. So this hasad shouldn't be there. If you see that you have hasad against non-practicing Muslims, you know, someone who doesn't wear hijab, or someone who doesn't pray, or someone who's doing haram business, or whatever the case is, why are you upset at that? You saw someone, I don't know, playing TikTok, and you're like up in arms. I need to expose his evil to the world. Communist, you know. So what happens is that you're like looking at that, and it's like, why are you upset? Why are you up in arms? Friends, when you see others who have all of these things, dunya, then you're like, man, are you happy with this? I feel sad for you that you're happy with this. I'll give some examples, you know, that I would apologize, you know, in front, you know, because those examples are a little bit rude and a bit forward, but it'll come, inshallah. Send us salawats. But not to go away from what I'm saying right now, let me bring a hadith from Imam Ali alayhi salam. Send us salawats. Imam Ali speaks about this characteristic. He says, a person who will ignore the many sins that he has, but will not forgive the one sin that someone else has. Have you seen such a person like that? I mean, he's doing all kinds of sins and guna and disobedience, but then when he sees one sin from anyone, right, that's it. His adalat is on the line. You know, I've seen this person doing that. Bro, look at yourself. But that one sin you see someone else do, I mean, that's it. You are holding that person, you know, and unforgivable. Imam Ali speaks of this as something wrong. This is wrong. And you know, someone that Allah does not forgive, a person that Allah does not forgive, we have in hadith, is a person who says about others, anyone else, that Allah will not forgive him. Have you heard this before? Allah will not forgive him. Whenever you make a statement like that, you challenge Allah. You challenge Allah. And when you challenge Allah, Allah is like, oh, really? I am not going to forgive him. You know what? Now I am going to forgive him. And I will make it such that I'm going to forgive him, and I will make it such that I don't forgive you for thinking that I cannot forgive. Who are you to tell me what to do? I'm Allah. You know, you don't like someone, that's your problem. You're not happy with someone, that's your problem, not mine. But don't tell me what to do. You tell me not to forgive him? No, I will not. So I'm talking about people here. I'm not talking about Taghut and Zalimin, right? So leave that, that's where, Lanat is deserved, and we need to send Lanat on those who are Taghut and Zalimin. That is rightful as Allah Himself wants us to do it. But not normal people who do normal mistakes. Not like that, my friends. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So what we need to understand is that this attraction to Ahlul Bayt, this love of Islam, this enjoyment of deen is from Allah. It's not something that we acquire. It's something that Allah gives us. He's the one who gives this to us. Whatever enjoyment we have, when we need to see Allah is giving it, we are not enjoying. So when we are not enjoying, then obviously we will have a problem. I'll give an example so that youngsters can also understand this better, right? Send a loud salawat. Ever had that experience, where you forgot your child's birthday? And on the way home, the wife reminds you, it's his birthday, right? And you're like, oh, but all the good stores are closed. So the only store open is the dollar store. So you say, all right, I'll get something for him. And you go to the dollar store and get something plastic from China that makes noise. So now as you bring this home, now you want to make it presentable, so you make it into a good packaging and all that, so it looks good. And then when you reach home, your child is excited because you're the dad and you should remember his birthday, but unfortunately you didn't. So what happens is that you want to give this gift to the child. And child takes it, sees the presentation, wow, it's good, It looks good, Might be something like that. So he takes it opens it up, and obviously finds, a toy from the dollar store that is in Spanish. So, and he looks at that. Now, what do you think his reaction is going to be? What is his reaction? Now, he's a good kid. You taught him akhlaq. You taught him the real adab of Islam. He knows. Very beautiful kid. Now, obviously, you won't say, what kind of gift is this? He won't say that. He will make it easy for you, when you receive a gift. Obviously, he's not excited. What's his reaction going to be? Thanks, Dad. It's the thought that counts. Wow, when you hear that from your son, it's the thought that counts. You're like, but obviously this is not how Allah does it. Now, if Allah wants to give a gift, His gift will be something else. For example, if you come back, I don't know, with an Xbox or something, you bring something that, he likes. Even if the packaging is terrible, you packaged it in today's newspaper, even though we never use newspapers anymore, but still, something, You took it and packaged it, and you brought it there, and he opens it up. Bad packaging, bad presentation, doesn't matter. As soon as he sees the Xbox, he's like jumping up and down. You're the best dad ever. You're the best dad ever, right? That's the excitement that you want to see in the child. So my friends, when Allah is giving you the gifts that He has given you, He dished out deen, He dished out Islam, He dished out Ahlul Bayt, He gave this to you. So what is your reaction? Allah, it's the thought that counts. You're like, what? The thought that counts. Why aren't you enjoying it? Why aren't you really attracted towards it? It should show in your face, in your life. It should show that, wow, I'm having fun. It is amazing. My friends, this is where it needs to come to. It should be like this. Otherwise, if we are like sad and going on like that, and our children see us sad and always like frowning and upset, you're like, man, I don't want that what you had. That's why the children are looking for something else. The kids are looking for something else because they see that every time there's frowning, there's upset, there's anger, and there's nothing to be happy about. Why aren't you happy about deen? That's what Allah wants to see from you. He says, Habbaba ilaykumul iman. I made iman beloved for you. وَزَيَّنَهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. And I've made dunya beautiful for you. I made deen beautiful for you. So why aren't you not enjoying it? This is where we need to go in our thinking. And inshallah we will go in that route and make it better. Send a salawat, please. Ya Allah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. How can we make ourselves such that we can see the beauty of deen? I'll give you one thing right now to start off with. Right? One thing right now so you don't leave here empty-handed. The first thing we need to do in order to see deen as beautiful, Ahlul Bayt as beautiful, and everything else that we do as beautiful, is to see dunya, kufr, and guna as ugly. At least see the ugliness of these things. How hideous is this kufr? How disgusting is guna? See that at least. Try to recognize how bad this is. Don't go for the glamour and the glitter in the front. Look at behind and see the depression that exists. When the world looks at Hollywood, all they see is the stars and the big screen and all of these things. But when you look at their lives, all you see is depression. All you see is people who are addicted to alcohol, hideousness. You are excited about this? About these people? Friends, really, these are things that we need to look beyond and see the ugliness of what's happening. If you don't see the ugliness and of the outcome of dunya, you will end up in depression with a miserable ending. You know what happens? This is why we need to see it as ugly. Guna should be ugly. A person came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he wanted to speak good about someone. He says, that so-and-so kafir is very intelligent. He said, so-and-so kafir, whatever that kafir it was, is very intelligent. And the minute he said that, there was a frown on Rasulullah's face, a look of disgust. He says, what kind of talk are you talking? You even see the ugliness of your statement? How can a kafir be intelligent? If he was intelligent, he would be believing in Allah. He would believe in Tawheed. The fact that he isn't is ugly. That's Rasulullah's reaction right away. His first, just scolded him, put him down. Write that. My friends, that's how ugly it is. But Shaitan has made it beautiful. All we see is the laughter and everyone going on vacations, like it's an advertisement for Expedia or something, That's all we see. And yeah, Shaitan will show you that. He will show you that. And that's where you end up. You see, really, my friends, when we say that Ahlul Bayt are masoom, what does that mean? In simple terms, I'll give an example. And I, again, apologize for the example, but, this is, we need to learn these things well. Learn these things well. You see, when he gives an example of that, what do you mean by that? Well, here's what why Ahlul Bayt are this. And an easy example. A scholar in the house, gave this example to a student. Student asked, because that ismat and masoom, when we say Ahlul Bayt are masoom, it's not sinless. That's a bad translation. It's not sinless. Many people are sinless. Many people haven't done sin. Bibi Zainab has never done a sin. Hazrat Abbas is sinless. But masoom is different. Masoom is different, right? So one of the characteristics of masoom is that a masoom doesn't even think about sinning. It doesn't even cross his mind. He can see it, that we have in ZEHRA, that you lived around najasat, but the najasat never affected you. Read in ZEHRA Tawarasa. Right? It is that there's najasat around you, but it hasn't affected you. Why? Because those things that are najas, those things that are sins, won't. So how is that possible? When you look at something, right? You're looking at sin, you're looking at kufr, you're looking at people doing haram or whatever. How is it not possible that it comes into your mind? How is it not possible? So this example, a student asked this teacher in the Hausa, and this teacher said, all right, he said, how old are you? So whatever age he was, 25 and this and that, All right, old enough to be sensible, right? So, okay, good. He says, okay, 25, whatever it is. He says, tell me, how many times in your life have you gone to the bathroom? He says, I don't know, a lot of times, daily, I've been there to the bathroom. I said, all right, good. And obviously, you did your job there, right? In the bathroom. He says, yes, I did my job there in the bathroom, like everyone else does. He said, okay, good. Tell me, in all those times that you have seen the result of your job, have you ever tried to taste it? Astaghfirullah, no. It's disgusting. Okay, very good. Did it ever cross your mind? And you answer yourself. Did it ever cross your mind? You're like, no, never did. I said, why not? Tell me why not. Because it's disgusting. It's disgusting. He says, just like your poop is disgusting for you, disobedience to Allah and sins are disgusting to Ahlul Bayt. It is so disgusting in reality that they don't even think about it. They don't even think about doing it. It doesn't even cross their minds. This is where we need to come with this dunya that is trying to attract us. We need to come to that. That's enough for today, my friends. That's it. Let me end this here. La ilaha illallah. Send a salawat. Shaitan makes dunya beautiful. Really. Shaitan makes dunya beautiful. And Hussein makes religion beautiful. Look at it. Imam Hussein is the greatest beautifier of religion. The most sweetest aspect of deen is this. There was a brother who was a very good brother, praise and everything that's like that, right? But he had an issue with matam. And I was like, why do you have an issue with matam? A good brother and everything, right? Shia brother and all these things. Why do you have an issue with matam? It was like striking and, times and all these things. And this is something that you see a lot of times that happens in people, right? They might be good people, something they get caught and they don't see. And why don't you see the beauty of this? Why don't you see that beauty, that light that Allah has put in it? Wow, subhanallah. Yeah, and it so happened that This person, I met him, some years ago and again. And he says, these people, they go overboard with this masayib. They exaggerate. And I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? So, I heard this scholar, and nowadays you have these new scholars, when they speak about, masayib and this type of things, they want to look for something authentic or something like that, so they fail to realize certain things, And inshallah, I will explain the importance of masayib and the importance of this subject and the light that it has. Where does this light come from? Inshallah, we'll discuss this later. But I'm just saying this, an example. Then he gave the example that, I see. I said, like what? He said, I heard a scholar say that, they exaggerate. A lot of these scholars, they exaggerate when they read masayib. For example, the story of the rope in the hands of Zainab. It only happened once. And they just exaggerated all the time. I said, so really, look what you're saying right now. Look at what you're saying. The fact that Bibi Zainab stood in front of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad Mal'oon, just that she stood in front of him is killing us. You want to go to the story of the rope? That's far away. You know what's killing us right now? Is the fact that she went there. How can you, are you okay with that? My friends, I asked them to listen, the story of the rope, you say it happened one time. Are you okay with that even happening one time? Isn't that going to kill you? Well, sometimes we don't need Ashura to kill ourselves. The 2nd of Muharram is enough to kill ourselves. Imam is coming to Karbala. This itself is killing us right now. This itself should be like enough for us to say that I don't want to see anything else. The disrespect Imam Hussein had, the humiliation he went through. No, let me give you an example so you understand what 2nd of Muharram is and the wurood of Imam Hussein in Karbala. What does it mean? You know what it means? It's like, for example, someone invites me to come to their house for dinner. They invited me. And they said, bring your family also. So I go there with my family. My wife is there, children, everyone's ready to show respect. We came here at your invitation. We come to the house. I knock on the door. And children are looking up to me because I was invited. They just came along because of my respect. The wives came along because of my respect. I knock on the door. Someone opens the door and they look at me and says, what are you doing here? And I says, you invited us to come. You invited us to come. And they said, no, we did invite you to come. And they shut the door on my face. You know how we will feel? Children are watching me. Dad, I thought we were invited here. They slammed the door on us. They shut the door on us. My friend, Imam Hussein being in Karbala is just like that. It's just like that. They slammed the door of Imam Hussein. They reached Karbala. Now you see Ali Akbar looking at Imam Hussein, Qasim looking at Imam Hussein and saying, we were invited here, weren't we? We were invited here, weren't we? What has happened? Why aren't they letting us in? Friends, this is enough for us to die. This is it. La ilaha illallah. Let me say something about Bibi Zainab today. Let me speak about Bibi Zainab today. When Imam Hussein, first thing after he sat, and he heard that this place is called Karbala, when he heard that, he started crying right away. He broke down and he started crying. And, now what is this crying for? You think this crying was for Abbas? Was he crying for Hazrat Abbas? No, I don't think so. Was he crying for Ali Akbar? No, he wasn't crying for Ali Akbar or anyone. How about the children? No, he wasn't crying for children because the children had Zainab. Zainab was looking after them. You know who Hussein was crying for? He was crying for my poor Zainab. My poor Zainab, that everyone will be looking to her, but she won't have anyone to even tell her it's okay. La ilaha illallah. Let me say something about Bibi Zainab. Imam Hussein, on the night of Ashura, eve of Ashura, Shab Ashura, he told Habib ibn Mazahir, he told him that, Habib, go tell your wife and the wives of other ashab, go tell them that I want them to pack their things and leave. If they stay till tomorrow, they will face a lot of hardships. They will go through difficulties. They will be made to go through humiliation. I don't want them to go through that. Hussein spoke about the wives of companions. He didn't say anything about Bibi Zainab, what she's going to go through. He didn't say anything about Sakina, what she's going to go through. He said that the wives of the ashab, they pack their bags and leave. I don't want them to go through this, what they are going to go through. So, at that point, Habib came to his wife and he gave her the message of Hussein. He said, Hussein has said to pack your things and go, and let the other wives know to pack their things and go. When the wife of Habib heard that, she said, Habib, tell me, why are you here? Tell me, why are you here? What are you doing here? He said, I'm here to defend the son of Fatima. I'm here to defend Hussein, the son of Fatima. You know what she said? She said, then I'm here to defend the daughter of Fatima. I'm here to defend her. Habib went back and gave the message to Hussein. Hussein raised his hands in dua and made dua for these ladies. And you know what happened? When they came to Kufa, when they entered the court of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, may Allah reward you. May Allah increase your ajr, my friends. When they came to Kufa and the court of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, Kufa was different. You know why it was different? Because everyone knew who Zainab was. Zainab was a princess here. Zainab lived here when Imam Ali was the ruler. She was looked up at by everyone. All the ladies used to look up to her as an example and a role model. And when Zainab was being brought as a prisoner into the court of Kufa, the ladies, Habib's wife told the ladies, get around Zainab, don't let anyone see Zainab. Don't let anyone put their shameless eyes on Zainab. They made a circle around Zainab and she came inside like that. With that respect, she came inside. When she came inside, so when Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, La'natullah alayhi, when he was looking around, he saw this circle around this one lady. He inquired, who is that lady in the middle of that circle of women? He said that they told him that this is the sister of Hussein. When he heard that this is the sister of Hussein, that's when he started lambasting Zainab and said, Allah has humiliated you. Allah disgraced you. Allah has killed your brother. Allah has done these things to you. He started lambasting her, but the ladies stood around so that no one sees Zainab and Zainab is not known. They were there to protect her iffat. They were there to defend her honor. They were there for that. But Zainab in Sham was completely different. Zainab going to the court of Yazid was different. You know why it was different? Because the ladies were freed in Kufa. All the wives of the ashab were let go of in Sufa. So when Zainab entered the court of Yazid, no one was there to protect her. No one was there to see. La'natullah ala qawm al-zalimin. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. يا محمود بحق محمد، يا علاء بحق علي، يا فاطر السماوات بحق فاطمة، يا محسن بحق حسن، يا قديم الحسن بحق حسين. Give us the tawfiq to be on the right path. Give us the wisdom to understand your guidance. Hasten the reappearance of our Imam. Make us his helper when he comes. وآخر الدعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. ماتم حسين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآله